gaming was something last night? I thought so. It was so much fun, dude. One of the best parts about like me like consistently fucking hemorrhaging viewership is that I have the opportunity to go cozy mode. With like later in the day or even earlier in the day in comparison to when I would, and like cover whatever the fuck I want. I know how dog food. And then just like play video games like Alan Wake. And if you guys fucking miss out on it, then you do. You know what I mean? It is what it is. A lot of people are like, where's there no variety? And then like when I do actually do variety, they go, Seder called in the Prager U?
5 seconds.
What? What is that? Is he calling in a Prager U at the moment? Like, I don't get it. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare, dude.
It does. I'll give you a moment here to think about it. Sean is baffled. It's fascinating.
Wait, shut the fuck up. He's like talking to Prager U's live.
Sleep. Hello, sleep. Folks, a lot of you have problems falling asleep or staying asleep. My heart goes out to you.
What?
It's not a problem I've ever had. I'm very lucky, and I know it. But if you need to, this is a great product. On occasion that I have taken it, like, for example, when I went to London and I wanted to sleep on the plane, this thing is fantastic.
What the
Anything
fuck? Is he shilling sleeping pills?
So
is Dennis Prager doing an ad for sleeping pills?
If you
the fuck's
need
going
to
on?
sleep or stay asleep,
oh, don't show that, Sam. Don't do that.
.com and order sleep for restorative, regenerative sleep. ReliefFactor.com.
Don't do it, Sam. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare.
My column this week is essentially that when America was more Christian, Jews were more secure. So there are two issues with my caller. This is a really important call. You called because I have a lot of thoughts on what you're saying. So this is Ron in Oregon, and there are two issues. One is that his son, this is a Jewish family, and his son has been participating in anti-Israel protests at his college. Huh. And the other is that he doesn't fully agree with me because, look at all the anti-Semitism in Europe, which was done by Christians, and he's absolutely right. But as I've said all of my life, American Christianity was not European Christianity, and the best place Jews have ever lived outside of their own land has been the United States of America. So your last comment was that you were distressed that at the rally in Washington for Israel, they had Pastor Hagee speak, correct?
Yes, that's right. I mean, I never totally agreed with John McCain about all things, but when he distanced himself in 2008 from Hagee, I thought that was the right thing to do.
And the reason?
Well, I don't think the idea that, and this is what Hagee believes, obviously not what I believe, or I would imagine not what you believe, is that Hitler was sent by God to push Jews to Israel. And I mean, I understand the Christian prophecy that we as Jews are a part of that, but not necessarily in the best way. But I guess my biggest concern is we just had the greatest attack on Jews since the Holocaust take place. And I look at Israel as a place that was founded, at least in part, to protect Jews. And I think that after 75 years, what we're looking at is a situation where
he said his name is Ron from what, Colorado?
Has failed. And I think in part it's failed because of the way that Israel has gone about it.
Okay, so you'll now enter the third arena. They're all related.
Exactly.
Let me just say this about John Hagee. First of all, I never, ever judge people on the basis of their beliefs. I'm sure you're annoyed when Christians think you're going to hell because you don't believe in Christ. So why are you annoyed with John Hagee?
To be fair, Dennis Prager is very open-minded when it comes to Lolly, at least.
I have reviewed it. It's not fully clear to me, but let's say he said that. God sent Hitler. My father, who was an Orthodox Jew and fought Hitler in the U.S. Navy for 3 years, believe that God sent Hitler because he couldn't believe that the Holocaust just happened and God watched it. There are a lot of Jews.
Yes, but that is
okay. So fine. So what exactly? How remarkably different was my father's view? I don't agree with my father, but it doesn't matter. As I said, I judge beliefs, but I don't judge people by their beliefs. So John Hagee has been one of the most pro-Jewish, pro-Israel figures in American life. He has founded the largest organization of Christians. It is the CUFI, Christians United for Israel.
I know that. But Dennis,
okay.
that actually relates to my other point.
Good?
Because I do think that intent. I do think intent is important here. So it is true that that Israel has a lot of support from CUFI and other Christian Zionists, but they want the Jews there so that they go through hellfire. And I also know that
I posted. I blasted off. Let the people know.
I know
that is exactly the prophecy that Hagee is talking about. And,
no.
And
okay.
I will also say this with Netanyahu.
Okay.
With Netanyahu,
let the people know,
also
chat.
making common cause with
yes, because he's making common cause because the greatest support in America for his country is coming from Christian Zionists.
Well, but I think that's problematic in the end.
Cause with them?
Well, I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain because I think what it breeds
he's like changing his voice to sound more
of singular nationalism in Israel, which has left Jews unsafe. The road that could have been taken with Zionists.
Okay. So
we know that there was a
that
strand
Israel
of Zionist thought. Not Israel. I'm saying certain elements within Israel, because we know there was Zionist thought starting in the late 1800s into the early 1900s, where the idea of a multi-ethnic, multi-religious democracy could have taken hold. Folks like Buber and Hannah Arendt espouses.
Well,
instead, we have a fascist.
Don't be shocked that your child has taken your ideas to their conclusion.
Oh, Dennis.
Did he cut him off?
It's weird that you had to cut me off.
The Dennis Prager Show.
I'm just going to hang out to the music for a while, if you don't mind.
Return to break in 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
No way.
I think he might be done with you.
Yeah.
I get the sense he was. He definitely cut me off.
Should we hang on the line to see if he comes back to you?
I don't know.
That's crazy, dude. What the fuck?
Up to you. I'm just working.
Because you're not having real conversations.
I tagged the random Leslie and I fixed it. Shut up.
On the Salem Radio Network. Returns from break in 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's crazy. All right, this is the fucking blast off.
Yeah, I really greased that runway though, didn't I?
Everybody, you're operating with the older tweet. I already edited it. Okay, I know. Oh my god. No, I didn't. Okay, I already fixed it. Shut up. God damn it. Chat is literally. I don't understand how you guys like operate on like a delay. Like, do you go to your Discord or something and then everybody makes jokes about it and then you fucking turn around and then you laugh about it first and then you come in here and then you say it? Will Alan Wogan leave the company, get uploaded to your YouTube gaming channel? Yes, any gaming I do. Wish Sam a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sam Cedar. What a fucking nightmare. Petition for you to get a soundboard and hire March to be your sound guy? No. The merge hoodie I ordered just got in today and I'm loving it. It's heavy like a weighted blanket. Hell yeah. Oh, did the link change? Is that why? Is that why everybody's fucking complaining about it? I thought it's the same link. Here it is. Doesn't matter. I already fixed it. Okay. Yeah, and you wouldn't listen? It doesn't matter. The link I was giving you is still the fucking new. There's still a new tweet. Wish your favorite bald Canadian a happy birthday. Northern Lion? Is that his birthday? What is he, like 80 now? Happy birthday, old man. The only person who is more bald than myself. And also simultaneously. More bald than myself and also more Canadian than me and older than me on the website. Yeah, brother, I don't think he's getting it back. I think it's over. It's Jover, I think.
The Dennis Prager Show returns.
Also, happy birthday to young Peasy as well. All right, what the fuck? Dude, it's not happening. It's not happening. Oh, fuck, they got jams on?
Go to relieffactors.com. Read what people have written about this product, which relieves pain in muscles and joints. I know it. I endorse it.
What's Dennis Prager saying?
What if everything you love could come together in one
Bro,
enjoyable
he cut it.
and stimulating
I think
place?
he cut the video. I think he figured out.
Amazing amenity.
I assume he figured out that he's talking to fucking Oh No Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare live, and then cut it out. This is exactly like an XTC stream.
Instead of giving them something nice, why not gift them somewhere nice?
Dude, why do these guys have so much? Like, they have so many fucking ads, dude. Well, it could have been your tweet. No, I doubt it. Dude, do you think they fucking literally are on my... Wait, he's back?
384. Okay, so just a final word here. I rarely keep somebody on so long, but I thought this was valuable. So I just want to say, and this is, God knows, I thank you for your call and your openness.
Thank you.
But with your views with regard to Israel, it's not shocking that your son would have participated in anti-Israel demonstrations at college.
Well,
I know you wouldn't, and I fully appreciate that. But
he appreciates that you're not a terror supporter.
He didn't come from a home that made peace with Israel as a national Jewish project.
Well, I think that's not. I don't think that's true.
He's
actually, I mean, certainly much of my Hebrew school,
and
I at that point was more conservative than Orthodox. But much of my Hebrew schooling was oriented towards Israel. Many of my teachers were
that's
former
irrelevant. It's your views.
Well,
look, you said.
But all I'm saying is I'm looking at this as a practical matter, though, Dennis, because as a practical matter, if the part of the Zionist project was to provide a safe home for Jews, I mean, and surely you know this as well. We have Israelis now who are in bomb shelters 4 times a day. And
he's doing the classic Israel doesn't make Jews safe, it makes Jews less safe.
Peace and security for Jews as a single ethno-national state has not worked.
So therefore, you believe Jews would be more secure if there weren't a Jewish state and it was just a Jewish and Muslim state.
And Christian. I mean, I think
but there are so few Christians there. Okay,
well, yes, yes, of course, it's academic.
You believe Jews would be more secure with majority Arab rule?
I think absolutely a multi-ethnic society could be set up. I mean, listen, this is the same thing that people said about South Africa.
He says, okay, get out of here.
Okay, well, Dennis, I really appreciate your having this conversation with me.
The listener decide.
Thank you.
But I think you need to be honest with yourself. If you believe that
I am being honest with myself,
project
Dennis,
is a failure, it is not that surprising that your son would have demonstrated against Israel on his campus.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't characterize the demonstration
St. Petersburg, Florida. Corey, hello.
Oh, he just cut him off. Bro, I guess he tried to hit him with the... like the whole, like, I'm like a liberal Zionist, but then my son... Like, I'm a liberal Zionist, but then my son is, like, attended an anti-Israel rally, and I don't like that. Is that what he was trying to say?
Yeah. You got to really know. Like, I did too.
I can't believe you got on that long. And
that's so funny.
You've spoken to him before, right? Like, he supposedly knows your voice.
Well, I mean, I don't.
You got on for like a second, though.
Wait, let's see. Did he? Oh, he just moved on to the next caller, I guess.
However you celebrate the holidays,
Oh my God, how the fuck do people watch this show? The Prager U show is fucking nasty with it, with the ads. Jesus Christ. It's just ads. It's like 3 seconds of Dennis Prager talking in between like 8 minutes of ads. What the fuck? I never want you motherfuckers to complain about my ad density ever again, okay? Never again. Do you understand? Oh, let's go. Let's go, motherfucker. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Fuck. Fuck. Oh, let's farming boomers. Yeah, he is farming boomers. Dude, I had some crazy shit happening yesterday on the Alan Woke broadcast. Like that shit was great. That shit was great. Dennis Prager doesn't burp into the mic though. Okay, watch him then, bitch. You know what I mean? Go fucking watch his bitch ass with all the fucking ads that he plays. Okay. Anyway, here, let's start with this. Not the 20-year-old sitting in the Audi lecturing people again. He's paid by the DNC law. This is my favorite guy.
If you don't vote for Biden in 2024, you're gonna have a lot of explaining to do.
This is my favorite guy because he's just like, he's like a woke TikToker that the DNC was like, this is our best soldier. The DNC was like, remember those like get vaccinated campaigns that we did? Okay. Remember those what is this guy saying? You run roughly 180 seconds of ads per hour. Network television runs about 15 minutes of ads per hour. The big difference is the show pauses during ads, whereas your stream doesn't. Brother, I also, not only do I run 3 minutes of ads per hour, the reason why the show still goes on while the ads are running is because, one, you can avoid it by subscribing, and two, more importantly, for most people, they don't actually see the ad. Because, like, either they have subscribed, they've gotten gifted a sub, they have a Twitch Prime subscription, or they have ad block, they have VPNs, and they're like, you know, there's like different reasons as to why most people don't see ads anyway. My ad density is incredibly low in comparison to even my contemporaries here on this platform. But then also on top of that, like, most people don't really see ads regardless. What is this? Hassan catching strays? What the fuck?
I'm coming to the thing.
Oh my god, we should have invited Hassan because we're doing like noob edition, so like he probably should. I forgot to invite him.
Why not right now?
No, he's actually played before.
Oh, he's just bad, right?
What?
That's fucked up. That's actually fucked up. Also, I pay to watch TV with ads. You don't have to pay to watch the stream. True. Stopping for 3 minutes is a loss. Some people stop what they're doing, but you can't do that with all kinds of content all the time. No, of course I don't stop my fucking content. When most people don't see the fucking ads anyway. So who gives a shit? Ah! No! Shine him. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Oh, fucking missed. Oh, what the fuck? I just popped him on the pussy, dude. Yo, I just popped his pussy. I'm not even kidding. I straight up, I think my greatest streams are fucking. You sound like you're freaking out taking a shit, to be honest. My greatest streams are when I'm playing video games, like bar none, unconditionally. I'll stand by that. Haas tweet will say stuff like this and then be like, ooh, he's so baby girl. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what the fuck that's about. That's it. My greatest streams are fucking. You cook the most when you're gaming. It's your element, brother. Sam Cedar just debated Dennis Prager. I know, man. We just watched the tail end of it. It was awesome. But he didn't really end up debating him at all because he just kind of snuck in there. Leave the company with the homies again when? Great question. Later tonight. If you saw my blast off tweet, you would have seen that Later tonight, we are going to be doing Lethal Company again, Amazon Delivery Simulator with Valkyrie, Lower Gagarin, Blastoise, Fusli, and K. Katamina. Right? So, that's happening. Fully enjoyed Alan Wogue last night? Yeah. Watch Al Jazeera? Why? What's happening? At 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. Okay. From 3 minutes on, this new video shows the release of hostages in Gaza in the last few hours. What is this? Is a company in the process of handing over Israeli prisoners to the what? Movement as a part of the exchange deal under the Egyptian Qatari sponsorship? I fucking wish that this was already like translated. You know what I mean? God, I hate Twitter videos so fucking much. It makes me lose my goddamn mind. Anyway, let me watch this DNC thing and then we'll get to it. Okay? So this guy, he's a TikToker. Okay? And the Democratic Party decided, the Democratic Party personally decided, you know, remember that thing that we did where we got like Olivia Rodrigo to be like, hey, you should get vaccinated, and it didn't really work that well, but like it doesn't really matter. We really like having the TikTok Zoomers be like, you have to vote for the Democratic Party and just like make condescending videos. That is the greatest way to get boomers out to Pokemon Go to the polls, and the greatest way to get Zoomers out to go to the Pokemon polls or to Pokemon Go to the polls is basically doing the same thing but with a Zoomer with a middle part. So let's see.
You're going to have to explain to millions of women across the country why there's a national abortion ban.
Wait, let me start
Straight
from
up,
the top.
if you don't vote for Biden in 2024, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do. You're going to have to explain to millions of women across the country why there's a national abortion ban and they no longer have the constitutional fundamental right to an abortion. You're going to have to come to me and explain to me why the nearly $1 trillion we've invested in climate change over the last 3 years for my future is gone, wiped away just like that. We're investing.
I mean, he's saying that, but it's like Brandon is the president currently. You know what I mean? Like, the abortion ban came into effect under the Brandon administration. And also, like, all of the protections against the abortion ban have been conducted in both southern states and red states and blue states alike by either directly voting in ballot measures or by blue state legislatures and blue governors responding to the Democratic calls from the population. So they really got to change this, man. They have to change the strategy of like, you have to vote for us because the other side is much worse. I mean, it's true, right? Like, it literally is true. It's not false. Yes, I don't think anybody goes, the Republican Party is better than the Democratic Party. But you can't consistently, hey, Majority Report, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. I was watching the tail end of that Dennis Prager debate that never ended up coming to fruition, I guess. But, oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare, you know? I am Texas. That is all anyone says in Texas. The problem is, like, I think a lot of people think defensive voting is the best possible way to get people out to vote. And that's not the case. Like, I think we should definitely try to do offensive voting. Like, vote for something rather than against something. I hate that the only way that Americans vote in this country at this point is, like, because they're fearful of the other. They're fearful of the opposition. And this goes for the Republican Party as well. The Republican Party at least like offers something. And the thing that they offer usually is like protection for, you know, made up things like gun control. I guess that's still defensive voting on their end. Yeah, no, both parties are offering. Both parties in the United States of America are only offering defensive postures against the other. Right? It's only about making sure the Democrats don't win, because if Democrats win, what do? They're going to fuck up the economy with socialism. They're going to take away all your guns. They're going to make your children gay. They're going to forcibly do abortions to you, especially if you're a white Christian, right? And then on the Democratic side, there's a little bit more truth to the defensive voting measures, where we say, if you don't vote for the Democratic Party, then the Republicans are going to take away your rights, which is true. They're going to make it even harder for you to vote if you're black or brown, and which is also true. And that they're going to give every child a gun, which, you know, isn't fully true. It's a little bit of an embellishment, but, you know, not far beyond the pale. And both are defensive voting postures. It's like lesser evil voting, which, in my opinion, diminishes the enthusiasm that either side could potentially have. Nobody believes in their party. Nobody really believes in a figure that they legitimately think will make their lives better. Like, we've lost touch with that reality. We lost touch with the reality that, like, our politicians on either side of the spectrum are ever going to do right by us, are going to materially improve our lives. So we just kind of vote in the only direction that we know, which is maybe the opposition will get hurt. Like, we'll own the cons, or the conservatives are like, we'll own the libs. Inherently reactionary. And of course, the byproduct of this is the ratcheting effect as our democratic institutions are crippled, destroyed, eviscerated. They're democratic in theory anyway. But, like, whatever theoretical democracy we have is further diminished every single time Republicans gain power. And then the Democrats don't do enough to claw back that regression. And yeah, it's not good. I'll just say it like this. It's not looking too good, folks. I'm thinking it's looking bad. So, yeah. I do personally think that you give the game away when you openly state a year out when there is a presidential candidate a year out from an election where 75% of his own party's members, like the most loyal people, are saying, we got to replace this guy, with like historically low approval ratings and you know, very little popularity in his own party, is like forcibly propped up, and the people go, hey, let's not change the candidate to a more popular figure that could unite the base. Let's stay the course with this guy who is like 800 years old and risk losing to Trump. Okay? Let's do that. And if you don't demonstrate fealty to the Democratic Party, if you don't ask for concessions at the very least, if you don't try to extract concessions from your elected representatives, including the fucking president, by protesting in the streets and saying that you're not going to vote for Brandon ever again unless he changes things, right? If you don't do any of that, or if you do things like that, you're actually hurting his chances. It's like, brother, am I on the team or not? Am I on the team? Because if I'm on the team, you got to sometimes be like, well, here are the things that I've done for you, and here are the things I plan to do for you, and I hear your demands, and I think that they're reasonable. Yes, I think we have all the power here on the Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza, and maybe we shouldn't do that. And obviously, for me personally, like, I would want my elected leadership to have the moral disgust for doing ethnic cleansing and want to put a stop to it, even if it was popular. Like, even if, like, Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign had like 90% approval, right? I would want my government to say, no, that's not allowed. That's really fucking gross that you're doing that, right? Like, I want them to demonstrate courage. I want them to take I want them to expend political capital to do the right thing, right? But even beyond that, we don't even need to make that mental calculus, because in a couple very important demographics, specifically young voters, and also the Arab Muslim voter coalition in a place like Michigan, which is an important state, you have Joseph Robinette Brandon doing the exact opposite of what he's supposed to be doing to maintain his popularity. The majority of Americans demand a neutral United States to be a mediator in the conflict. The majority, the overwhelming majority, way more popular than like unconditional support to Israel, way more popular than obviously support of Palestinians. Okay? The overwhelming majority of Americans want a ceasefire. These are all incredibly, profoundly popular positions to take. So why is the Brandon camp not even doing the not politically courageous move, but the politically expedient move, the smart move? It makes no sense. But like I said, having the DNC repeat the same exact fucking smarmy bullshit, you have to vote for us, otherwise the other side is much worse. But also, when you vote for us, we're not going to fucking do the things that we claimed we're going to do to like scale it back, to rein these things in. Well, that's not a great proposition to consistently, improve voter turnout. You got to give people something. I can't be eating broccoli all the time, dog. You can't be serving me broccoli all the time. Sometimes you got to give me dessert. You got to give me a little meat on the side. And the Democratic Party is not even broccoli. It's a shit sandwich. You know what I mean? They're not even serving a broccoli. And now, this perspective didn't work. This perspective did not work anyway. It didn't work in 2016. You know, and I'm saying this as someone who participated in it. I didn't bully people, but I told them that, yes, Hillary is the better option. I was right. Hillary is better than Donald Trump. Hillary would have been much better than Donald Trump. At the end of the day, obviously, Roe v. Wade would not have been tackled, but there were also missteps in the Democratic Party in that situation. Certainly. Something that we must consider. RBG not being forced to retire under the Obama administration when she had like cancer 100 times already as a 900-year-old vampire was ridiculous. Was ridiculous. Not allowing some level of a constitutional crisis to occur under the Obama administration, like to forcibly push through what was just something that the Trump administration did. When they appointed a Supreme Court justice, like, could have done that. We didn't do that. Also ridiculous. It sucks. There's so many other things that the Democratic Party has done historically that I'm obviously very frustrated with. And when we're looking at electoralism, I'm going to put my electoralist hat on. I'm a DNC guy now, okay? There's politics and there's policy, okay? You got good policy and you got good politics. The Republican Party, at the very least, does good politics, but bad policy, right? Their policy solutions are fucking awful. Their policy provisions are devastating, oftentimes deadly, right? But at least they do good politics in the sense that they do everything they can to claw on to power. Okay? Wow, Hassan just got uglier. Did he apply a filter or something? Thank you. Maybe it's because you're listening only. The Democratic Party ostensibly is supposed to have good politics and good policy. The Democratic Party is supposed to push for good policy at the very least, which it claims to do when the election time comes around. Doesn't really pursue the good policy, though, to the lengths that it's supposed to. But the Democratic Party has dog shit politics. They don't want to win. They don't fight like they want to win. Right? And it's very, very, very frustrating. But then turning around and just like demanding that you just vote for the Democratic Party. I mean, this is not a good way. This is not a good way to pursue a broader electorate at a time when your president is historically unpopular. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no goddamn sense. I got to be honest, there's just one party and their only interest is capital. Exploitation is the only goal. And both sides are willing to harm the people to achieve their goals. No, I agree with that. I mean, I do. I think that the Democratic Party, if it was a real labor party, should at the very least push for anti-capitalist measures, right? Democratic Party, on the other hand, has rarely ever done so. When we talk about the pivotal Obama administration's achievement, not on foreign policy, but on domestic policy, when we talk about the ACA, the Obamacare, the only part of Obamacare that was not a direct cash transfer to the mediators within the insurance industry was forcing them to no longer deny people for any kind of conditions that they had prior to acquiring insurance. That's crazy. That should have already been legally regulated, like that from the jump. Right? Like the fact that pre-existing conditions was a reason to deny health care to some people is so crazy that many people now don't even know that that used to be the reality. When you tell people that in the United States of America, we used to deny, our insurance companies used to deny health care, like the right to even purchase health care if you had a pre-existing condition, is so laughably and comically evil that people go, that's not real. Shut up. God, I hate when people make stuff up like that. You know? That's crazy. Now that, in and of itself, was an anti-capitalist initiative, I guess. But that came with another cash transfer directly, with subsidies that directly came from taxes and from the federal government to the insurance industry. None of that actually harmed the profits, is what I'm saying. Because the only way to unironically push for anti-capitalist measures is not by improving the profit margins of shareholders, but instead actually forcing companies to take the initiative, forcing companies to reduce the profit margins, reduce their profit margins. That's the only way. It's completely unacceptable. It wasn't anti-capitalist. Come on, it was pro-labor, but it wasn't anti-capitalist. No, I'm saying like anything that forces capital to behave in a way that is inconsistent with their overarching goals of improving profit margins. I'm saying in the broad anti-capitalist umbrella, right? Except they basically fucking blasted it back to the premiums. Healthcare costs skyrocketed, and it still do to this day. You know? But my point is, Obamacare ultimately was a Republican plan created by the Heritage Foundation as a countermeasure against socialized medicine, because it's still market-based, very much so. Oh, Jesus. Okay. And it also was first implemented by Mitt Romney. It was known as Romney Care. It was known as Romney Care in Massachusetts. When Mitt Romney was the governor of Massachusetts, he implemented Obamacare way before Obama. Okay? Something to consider. Much like the top of the hour ad break is something to consider for all of you. As I continue to watch this screenager iPad kid talk about why you have to vote for the Democratic Party. Here's a 3-minute ad break now.
billions of dollars into fossil fuels because we no longer believe in climate change. You're going to have to explain to your friends and your family why there's mass deportation camps set up around the country, why we're mass deporting immigrants.
So that's another thing that he's mentioning, that the Democratic Party also kind of continued, not to the same degree and to the same severity, but they did continue it. Yeah, here's the original Heritage Foundation, October 1st, 1989 report assuring affordable health care for all Americans. This was basically Obamacare. Now, this is, isn't the important part the degree and severity, though? That's a great question. I do believe that the Democratic Party, no matter what, is always going to be marginally better than the Republican Party, right? I agree. That's the truth. However, let's say there is a genocide happening in Palestine. If one side's opinion is that we should only kill 50% of the Palestinians, okay, and the other side's opinion is that we should kill 100% of the Palestinians, yes, one side's opinion is better than the other side's opinion. However, there is a third option there, which is, how about no genocide? My point is, the Democratic Party should push a severe, strict, red line backed, no genocide policy. And people that come to me and say, well, you're fucking wrong, and you should shut the fuck up and vote for the Democratic Party and never demand any concessions from them, are fucking ridiculous. They are ridiculous, unserious people. It blows my mind that people so callously sit there and go, well, I guess you're off to the camps then, Muslims that don't want to vote for the Democratic Party, basically betray the severity of the situation, and they basically openly admit that they don't really give a shit, you know? Like, shut the fuck up and vote for me is not the position you should be taking. You should be aligning with the Democrats that are saying, I can't do this anymore. We have to fucking put an end to this. And you should be smiling and dialing. Not the rest of the Democratic Party's vote of support, a base of support, but smiling and dialing your congresspersons, smiling and dialing and protesting on the streets with the rest of the Democratic Party's important constituencies to enact concessions, to extract concessions from the Biden administration. Moshi moshi. Oro. Biden sama. That sort of thing. Biden sama. No more genocide, please. And for the record, I do believe, for the record, I do believe that pressure campaign does work, because the Democratic Party is supposed to be more responsive to the needs of its base. And they are, to a certain degree. I mean, the Republican Party's base is never going to demand an end to the ethnic cleansing in Gaza. They're never going to do that, and the Republican Party knows that, and that's why they can get away with saying incredibly vitriolic shit and maintain a policy that is pro-ethnic cleansing. But the Democratic Party, ostensibly, in this two-party structure, in this duopoly that we exist in, is supposed to listen to your demands. We are supposed to be the anti-genocide party, right? It is ridiculous. So yeah, if there is a marginal difference between the two parties, then it's the Democratic Party's position and its job, it's its responsibility to show you why there's a difference. And you can do that in two ways. One, you can do that by actually responding to the needs of your constituents, okay, demonstrating moral courage, maybe even expending a little bit of political capital from time to time. Not in this circumstance. Political capital is not even necessary in this situation because it is profoundly popular, broadly popular. And it never would have happened if people didn't consistently keep advocating for a ceasefire. That would have never happened. That broad popularity and the needle moving would never happen if we did not have independent outlets, if we did not have outlets like TikTok, social media, and the like, pushing for the correct position on this, the moral position on this, in spite of what the historic popularity has looked like for Palestinians. Okay? Would have never happened. And now that we're actually there, now that it is a broadly popular position, the fact that the Biden camp is not acting on the desires of its elected, or of the population that elected and put him in power, is fucking ridiculous. It's bad policy and it's bad politics. Unacceptable. And the same principle goes for using eminent domain and pushing to continue Trump's border wall, right? Blasting through the roadblocks on an incredibly reactionary, otherwise silly idea to capitulate to the white nativist immigration red herring, as though this is something that we have to do after you ran against it. Makes no sense. What are we doing? The Republicans are never going to turn around and go, oh yeah, Brandon did build the border wall, so I guess he is better than Trump on that. Trump didn't build the border wall. Or no one's going to turn around and go, yeah, actually, I'll hand it to him. He's doing a great job on immigration. No, because it's already a red herring to begin with. It's not a real problem. Immigration has never been a problem in the United States of America, and it will never be a problem in the United States of America. Immigration is the backbone of the American economy, and the two-tier immigrant system and the two-tier labor structure that we have here, okay, that is inherently incredibly exploitative for those undocumented immigrants, has to change, but not in the direction of like stopping migrants from coming into the country, but by offering the migrants into this country free passage and an opportunity to naturalize. Make that process legal. That, of course, would make our agricultural production more expensive, would make the poultry production more expensive, obviously, and we can't have that because that would eat away at the profit margins of capital owners who feed both the Democratic and the Republican Party. Okay? That's the real situation. Anyway, let's watch what else he has to say.
You're going to have to explain to everybody why the Trump administration is appointing federal judges to make sure he can overturn any election he wants. You're going to have to explain why the DOJ, the FBI, and the Department of Education are all gone, gutted. Can you do that? You're going to take all the...
You can't tank the economy just to be good to people? Wait, I'm sorry. Do you think I'm talking about this from a morality perspective? Because do you think that if you are a leftist in this community for 19 months, don't you think that that exact same argument extends to labor unions? Do you think the economy would be worse overall if labor unions were able to extract concessions from capital owners and actually eat away at the profit margins and have this not actually transfer the cost, not actually transfer to the consumers, but instead take away from the profit margins for shareholders? Because the exact same situation exists for undocumented labor as it does for documented labor. The overwhelming majority of documented labor, just like the entirety of undocumented labor, is not unionized. 90% of the American labor force is non-unionized. Allowing immigrant labor to come in and have the opportunity to naturalize, and also on top of that, have the opportunity to unionize alongside the documented labor force would be greatly and profoundly beneficial, would increase the purchasing power of the average American, would create a political system where there was a mechanism of pushback for the Democratic Party, workers' councils, workers' coalitions. You would be able to arrive at least marginal changes towards that beautiful social democracy that you look at in European countries. Are there more pros than cons to unions? Of course. Of course there are more pros than cons to unions. Here, I'll give you an example. According to the NLRB, empirical evidence suggests that labor unions end up increasing wages for unionized employees and real benefits, real wages, including benefits, by 10%. But across the board, labor unions actually have a profound effect on individual sectors. It ends up raising the bottom price point for all employees. 20% for the immediate contract on average, 10% for the entire sector, 10% for the entire economy. Why am I saying that? Well, turns out, this is why Sean Fain says UAW stands for You Are Welcome. The UAW bump has come to Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai. Did the Democratic Party do that? Fuck no. The UAW did that. Labor unions did that. Okay? Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai are raising their wages. Why are they doing this? Well, because they have to remain competitive. So even without sectoral bargaining, even other parts of the industry see an increase in their fucking salaries as a consequence of trying to maintain a competitive wage structure. If labor unions were not so successful at least trying to get the bare minimum fair profit extraction back, clawed back from the capital owner, would not spend billions of dollars every fucking year to eviscerate labor unions. Okay? American individualism, American exceptionalism, and American capitalism is a cancerous trifecta that ends up hurting American citizens. It ends up hurting the American economy. It ends up hurting everyone globally, but certainly even Americans here. And people cannot wake up to that reality. They cannot. Partially because they are sedated with commodity fetishism, partially because they are told a lie, reinforcing the capitalist dogma from birth, from every fucking institution that has been propped up by capital owners, all the way from Common Core, all the way from your schooling, all the way up to not state-sponsored, but still functionally operating as a state entity, the mainstream media, the corporate-backed media. But capitalism is good and just and the best, and everything else, do not even think about that. Do not even think about an alternative. And if you think about an alternative too hard, well, then maybe you're a little bit radical. Maybe you're dangerous. Maybe you're scary. An example of that you have seen with the way that all of our organizations, all of our institutions, all of the people in powerful positions are currently having an incredibly hard time trying to scale back and rein in all of the pro-Palestinian sentiment that they hear from younger generations. They're losing their minds. They're like, we have to censor this stuff. We have to punish people for defending the humanity of Palestinians. We have to do everything we can because it's outside of the neat confines of liberal monoculture, what we consider to be permissible, what we consider to be appropriate to talk about. It's gross. Really fucked up. And you're seeing it happen. You're seeing it happen on that situation, and you will continue to see it happen in every other aspect of our lives as well.
The progress we've made over the last 3 years, LGBTQ plus rights, gun control, climate change, abortion, all that, gone instantaneously. I do not understand the concept of a no vote. It's clear to me, look, even if you don't like Joe Biden that much, that's fine. This is what I'd say to you. You can vote for the old guy with a stutter, or you can vote for the old guy with 91 felonies who sexually abuses women, who commits fraud, and wants to overturn elections. That's my message to you.
Anyway. Bro, libs will whine about commie dictator massacres, but turn around and ride Genocide Joe. Yeah. First of all, I mean, Jim Crow Joe, Genocide Joe, doesn't just have a stutter. His brain is definitely fucking doo-doo. But the idea is that if we have two options, then your goal should be to fucking force the one option to do more, to actually be a positive force. That's it. Harm reduction only goes so far as an appropriate mechanism. Harm reduction only matters to people who do care. Okay? There's a massive amount of people who have been completely checked out. Okay? I just don't get these people. Most of these people are going to vote Lamau. They're just hammering the smallest subsect of vocal critics against Biden. Motherfucker, why don't you spend time? Why don't you spend that time punching right? I just think that the expectation that everyone has to unconditionally vote for the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party shows very little in material gains for the very same groups, marginalized groups that we're talking about, the expectation that, like, oh, if you're trans, if you're Latino, if you're black, you have to vote for Joe Biden. What the fuck else are you going to do? Well, guess what, dude? Those subsects, those voter blocks, some of them are very marginal anyway, they're leaving. They're leaving the Democratic Party. If you don't prove to these voter blocks that you actually have their best interest at heart, if you don't prove to them that you care with your policies, if you don't actually work to materially improve their lives, then at a certain point, they're going to check out of the process. Okay? That's it. Constantly left punching for the marginal group of individuals back and forth that just don't really have all that big of a say in the process anyway is so fucking profoundly stupid. And it's not one, like, the severity of the situation of, like, Trump being president will greatly undermine our civil liberties, and the severity of itself. The severity of a situation like that is instantaneously betrayed by the DNC when they forcibly prop up Joe Brandon and say, shut the fuck up and vote for him. What are you going to do? Not vote for him? Yeah, the alternative is the Republican Party. It's like, yeah, okay, I understand that this is the most important election of our lifetime. Just like last election was the most important election of our lifetime. Just like last election was the most important election of our lifetime. But at what point do our institutions actually take some of the responsibility for putting up, one, dogshit candidates, and two, losing, and then three, continuing to do the same exact cycle of, like, I'm just going to keep left bashing. I'm just going to keep saying, like, you have to vote, shut the fuck up and vote, shut the fuck up and vote over and over again. And slowly but surely, what? We just, like, diminish the active participants who just completely check out of this process entirely because they feel like nobody really has their best interest in mind. That's what we're going to do. Anyway. Let's move on to a little bit of Israel, but like I said, we're going to be cycling in and out of this.
It is 11 a.m. on the East Coast and 6 p.m. in Gaza, where Hamas is expected to free more hostages today. The militant group released 11 more hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners yesterday. Dozens more believed to be still held captive in Gaza.
The first of multiple U.S. military planes are expected to land in Egypt today to deliver critical humanitarian aid to Gaza. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will visit Israel and the West Bank this week to continue diplomatic talks. CBS News has learned that CIA Director Bill Burns is in Qatar to discuss the conflict and the release of more hostages. I want to bring in Imtiaz Tayeb now. He is following the latest from Jerusalem for us. Imtiaz, always good to see you. What can you tell us about the truce the extension to this truce?
Yeah, Marie, there was a lot of hope that this extension would happen, and it looks like it is happening. This initial deal, expired this morning at 7 a.m., but we know that the fighting in Gaza has not restarted, which, of course, is incredible news for the people in Gaza whose lives have just been turned upside down. Now, what we understand is that the contours of this deal, which was negotiated, brokered really by Qatar, by Egypt, of course, with help with the U.S. as well, is that we will see a further 10 hostages released tonight and tomorrow night in exchange for 30 Palestinian prisoners tonight and again tomorrow night. And there's even hope that this deal could be extended.
I keep hearing that Hamas broke the ceasefire anyways. For my Zionist friends, what the fuck are they finding this info? I believe that Hamas did throw explosives in the direction of IDF soldiers after they first claimed that Israel broke the ceasefire conditions. But the reason why the ceasefire is continuing at this moment is because I don't know what happened, but I think that there was a first strike on the Israeli side, as it usually is. Like, but the first strike on the Israeli side is almost always seen as like regular maintenance. They did it on the first day. They fucking sniped at people. They sniped at like people that were trying to cross over into northern Gaza, like civilians, right? They've been doing it every single day, pretty much.
Even further. And of course, if you consider just the mood here in Israel, a country so traumatized by the October 7th attacks, of course, a country which so desperately...
Bro, don't levy a criticism that will push people to not vote or go independent. Qualify how we can do the work to influence them, because like it or not, cons are the enemy, and we do have to vote blue in our current system. Hebisnek, I need you to understand something very important. I am probably the only ostensibly leftist, broad definitionally leftist content creator on any platform, with maybe some exceptions, that almost never participates in the shit smearing of leftist content creators. I spend every waking moment, for the most part, shitting on the right. I shit on the Democratic Party for not doing a good enough job fighting against the right. All of those other content creators that you probably also watch spend way more time talking about fucking tankies, talking about how people are defending China or whatever the fuck, and how all of these other content creators are very bad, as a matter of fact. There is a reason why I don't spend any time with that, because that segment, even if I agree with them or don't agree with them, have no power. Okay? So don't come to me and be like, why don't you fucking blah, blah, blah? Like, why are you pushing people away? I don't. I always have and always will continue to tell people to vote, especially down ballot. Okay? But when I'm talking about how the Democratic Party is doing a horrifyingly bad job of trying to get people to vote for them, you can't turn around and be like, well, you know, you're just kind of pushing people away. Kind of pushing people away to not vote. It's their fault. If you think that a fucking random Twitch streamer has this kind of juice, then what the fuck do you think about the entirety of corporate-backed media, the DNC itself, all of these talking heads, all of these fucking actual people in positions of power that keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting more positive results the next time around? The call to action in this circumstance is to get the Democratic Party to actually adopt popular positions that they claim that they're going to fight for and actually fight for them. Throughout this past year, there were multiple moments, throughout this past couple of years, throughout the past 4 years, under the Brandon administration, where I lost my fucking mind yelling over and over again about how the Democratic Party was going to slowly wither away their base of support because they kept dropping the ball and making concessions internally within the Democratic Party. This created an environment that was unsustainable, that made the Democratic Party look chaotic, kind of like the Republicans did during the Never Kever saga. Okay? It made the Democratic Party look bad because the concessions that they were looking for, they were making to their own party members, some of which have now turned independent, like Kirsten Sinema. Some of which are now resigning, like Joe Manchin. If the Democratic Party could have had a united front on Build Back Better, which was Joe Brandon's very own signature accomplishment that he ran on by bullying and actually whipping votes, rather than making concessions to our own naysayers internally, we could have had better policy and we could have done better politics by showing to the rest of the country that the actual hurdles against progressive legislation that genuinely improves your lives is the Republican Party itself. So what am I supposed to do? Lie to you and act like that was totally fine? It's not. It's not fine at all. How do we influence or bully Dems to go more left without becoming independent? Is this just a state level thing? What do you mean? You just fucking keep smiling and dialing. You keep protesting. You keep, unionizing your workplaces so that you have some mechanism of pushback, both in your own workplace, but also in a broader sense against the Democratic Party, to ensure that to make demands and to ensure that they follow through on your agenda. You get other people to run in positions, local positions, and maybe even positions higher than that. This is why you don't see me shit on the squad all that much. One, because, well, I like them. And two, even though I have my disagreements from time to time with them, I understand that marginal improvements must be made if we're going to put our electoralist hats on. My expectations from them is to, at the least, pave a way for more leftist, a broader leftist coalition of Democratic Party politicians.
Damn, this guy's good.